Hello and welcome. So today it's hammering it down. I'm at the Tolkein Trail in Preston, the Three Rivers Walk's it called? I think so. Yeah, here with my dad. Yeah, it's hammering it down. I'm still going to go with my camera. What I usually do when it's raining so much is I'll have it under my coat, and just if I need to take a picture, kind of lean forward and do what I can. But not sure how much we're going to be able to get, so I'll take you with me, record a few bits along the way, see what I can get, but might not be much. So, as you may have guessed, the weather does not like us today. It is hammer it down. Literally, the second we got here, the heavens opened. So I've got this poncho on, protecting all my camera gear and that, but I'm going to get it out. So, because, the reason I'm getting it out is because I've seen a very cool picture idea. We've just got close to Tolkien School and it's through the trees and it makes quite a nice picture, I think. So stopped here, I'm going to get the picture. Camera's already on. Let me check the meter. Looks alright. 1/60th shutter speed, 5.6 aperture. I'm using 800 ISO. It's very cloudy, but I think we could get a cool shot here. One of my main thoughts with this film, because obviously it's 200 ISO film and I've pushed it to 800, that essentially means that any areas in the photograph that don't get light can, no matter how much you push them. So just got to another location. Just walking past this barn. It looks really cool anyway, but I was looking up at the roof, the edge. You might not be able to get it on camera actually. Try doing that, but the drip's coming down off the edge because obviously, as we know, it is chucking it down. So I just think that'd be quite a cool picture. Ideally like to keep the shutter speed quite fast because I want to capture the drips in place. However, you know, light permitting, obviously. So stick to the same settings. I'll check the meter. I'll turn the camera on first as well, that'll help. But I'll pain in the arse this rain. Check the meter. It's a bit bright actually, that's handy. So put it at 125th of a second. Focus it to the barn. You might not get it actually. Try a bit less sky. Might not pick it up because obviously the space behind the drips is, so this up here is quite dark. So you might get the contrast off it, you might not. But obviously that's all something we'll find when they get developed. I find often the things you don't try for work out the best. So, you know, mistakes make pictures better, I found. So I just take as much as I can. Obviously I think I've only got 14 left on this roll, so I'm picking the pictures quite, you know, deliberately. But obviously it's something I love about film cameras. You'll never know what how the picture turns out totally until you get the pictures back. You know, there's a lot more excitement that goes on, which is why I shoot on film. You know, a lot of people do it because it's got a lot to do with, like, you know, the look of the film, or they don't want to edit digital photos. But for me, it was more digital cameras are a lot less deliberate, I think. You know, I'd be out with him and I'd take a picture and have a look. It's not quite right, so I'll change something, do it again, and I'd go out, spend a day, come back with 2,000 photographs. That, because I know I got them right and I've already looked at them, that's it. You know what I mean? If I was doing it for a living, It's a big puddle. Hang on. That's not that deep. If I was doing it for a living, then you know, being hired for shoots and weddings and all that kind of stuff, then yeah, I'd probably go digital. But I find a lot more deliberacy, a lot more excitement, a lot more personality shooting on a camera that's only got 36 pictures that you don't really know how they're going to turn out, and you can't just keep spamming the shutter until you get the right picture. So that's why I shoot on film. Wow, that's beautiful. So look at this over there. You might not be able to see that well on a phone camera, but just got the mountains and the field and that. The poncho is off. Picture of the hills. There's a lovely cloud rolling over him. Obviously you can't see that, but you got a little bit of a glimpse when I pan the camera around. So I'm going to use my zoom lens to get it because it's quite far away, and the detail. Yeah, I'll show you again. So, like through there, kind of thing. Just over there, you might not get the detail. However, it is rather pretty. So I'm going to use my zoom lens, get kind of closer and get a bit more dramatic. So, wind on. I'll have a look. Brightness is okay. I'm going to get this. I want it a bit overexposed actually. Yeah, I'll do some on aperture 8, 125 shutter speed. I'm going to capture this now. Cloud's less rolly now. I might go for over there. Bit more zoomed. Oh, I don't know. I do not know. Because the cloud's kind of past now, so the effect I wanted is kind of gone. Yeah, 23 out of 36. Might leave that one. But again, that's all part of it. You've got to know when to. In fact, no, it's coming back. There's another one going over the hills. Fuck it. Just seen another photo. That tree. I think it's quite a cool looking tree. So, still got my zoom lens on, but it frames a picture nicely. Don't want a direct picture of it. So I'm kind of keeping it to one side of the frame, because it kind of naturally takes you one way anyway. That's too bright. Yeah, so for this I'm going aperture 8, 125 shutter speed, obviously 800 ISO is what we're working with. Yeah, another shoot. I find that a lot of what photography is surprise. You know, if somebody takes a picture of a bird, like I was talking about before, if somebody takes a picture of a bird and it's a picture of a bird and just that, it's not that surprising, and people say that's a good picture of a bird, but it's just a picture of a bird, you know. Again, this is an opinion, you know what I mean? There's obviously people that will disagree. A lot of the time, the easiest way to get something interesting is by making a mistake, or by not intending as much as you think you should. So you'll take a picture, you might not know how it turns out, and if you don't know how your picture's going to turn out, how does somebody looking at your picture know? You know, if you're going to be surprised, they'll be surprised. So yeah, I try not to. I obviously get the lighting right and all that kind of stuff, but I don't worry too much about precision, because it's, you know, doesn't leave any room for surprise or really personality. Yeah, oh, that's a nice picture there. Sheep eating. That's all they're doing. But it's quite interesting. I think my dad's getting a bit annoyed because this walk's going to take hours, me just keeping stopping. Hey mate. Bit dark. Perfect, got 2 pictures of them. What was really interesting or handy is the fact that one kind of turned around, looked at me, so I took a picture of him, and then the sound of the shutter made them all turn around, so I got another one. But that was the 27th picture. There's only 9 left, and a lot more walk to go. So I've just realised I've been recording for ages without the microphone on, which is always handy. But I was essentially talking about giving the idea to, as you're just going from place to place, just keep an eye on your light reading. Obviously places get lighter and darker naturally, so even if you're not taking a picture, just have a look through, check your meter, or if you've got an actual light reader, just keep up to date with it as you're going, because obviously pictures can come and go like that. Great picture. Look at that. Obviously this is a Tolkien Trail. Where is it? There it is. Right, so just loaded my camera onto the tripod, just because this is dark enough that it'll need to be about a 15th of a second shutter speed, and obviously handheld you're going to get a lot of shakes, so I'm just going to line it up with where I want the picture. It's a beautiful picture. Pressing down the shutter can just give it a bit of a wobble, so what I'll do sometimes is, if it warrants it, set the timer on the front. So I'll wind on, obviously make sure everything's set up right, everything's all lined up and wound on, and what I'll do, I'll just start the timer so that I don't get any shakes from pressing down the shutter. So I'll just wait for that to go off. There you go, and the picture's done. So I've been stopping and starting, taking pictures all the time, and found that my dad's just informed me that on this 7-mile walk, we're about a mile of the way through. So apparently there's some nice looking bridges coming up, so I'm going to hang off until we get to them. Cromwell's Bridge, yeah. A bit further on, we're at the bridges, just coming up to one side of it, but there wasn't much going into it, and it was dead crowded with trees and stuff in front of it. So I've walked around the other side. Is one of the rivers, by the way, on the 3 River Walk. So I don't know how this side's going to look. I think it'd be better because it's flowing into the river. It's lower down, so there's more bridge to look at. Yeah. So look at this side of the bridge. I mean, I didn't see the other one. That's my dad. No, I didn't see the other one, but kind of flowing down over rocks, going into the river. By the way, I'd love if anybody's got any tips about changing lenses on the go, because sometimes I feel like I'm running out of hands, and obviously don't want to get any muck in any of the crevices. I try to do it as quickly as possible, keep everything pointing slightly down, but I want to be as clean as I can so I don't get any muck in my camera. Right, this looks like a bit of a lighter shot, so probably won't need... Oh no, it's even darker. Brilliant. Okay. Right, is that the picture? I think I need more of the actual water flowing underneath. Oh yeah, and this tree here, it's beautiful. So I'm going to try and get that in the side of it, make the bridge seem a little bit hidden, because it kind of is. It's well out of the way. Obviously that was still on the 15, so it could be a bit shaky, but I tried to keep as still as possible and press this slowly, you know what I mean, just as if I'm squeezing it as opposed to pressing it. But the kind of shot I wanted to get had that tree in it, which I think is beautiful, all the vines going up and that. So it was kind of something like that kind of thing, with the water flowing here, the bridge, the tree, just making it seem a little bit, you know, a little bit closed away, a little bit hidden. Just stopped again at the track, and I'm sure my dad's really happy with me about that. Yeah, just thought that was quite a cool picture. Kind of a path, a little bit wobbly through the trees, get the, you know, framing of the trees kind of coming over the path. Well, it's a little bit brighter here, so I might not have to use the 15th shutter speed. Yeah, it's a bit brighter here, so I'll try and put to about 60th of a second. Yeah, that's about right. And then am I framing it? Am I doing that? Am I doing that? I'm thinking about where the centre point of the shot is going to be. Is it going to be right at the end of the path? And we're going to have more sky, more path. You know, keep that, I think, just under centre. Oh, I don't know. That could be better, actually. Going portrait. I think it's landscape, actually. Yeah, so I had the point where the path meets the trees right at the end, just under halfway up into the frame. Because you've got to think about what's going to be stronger in the picture. So I'll use the example of you taking a picture of the sea or something in the sea. Where's the horizon line? Is it at the top of the picture? Is it dead centre, which a lot of people think is quite boring and not the best idea? Or is it slightly lower down? Is the accent the sea? Is the accent the sky? Or is the accent the horizon? Is that what you're taking a picture of? It's all just about how, you know, what you try to get across in the picture. I find anyway, you know, what you try to draw people's focus to. So the reason I put the path slightly lower in the picture was to kind of get across how shrouded the path was, more than how powerful the path was. You know, get it to feel a bit more enclosed, a bit more representative of the kind of path it actually is. Hello, so pardon me here, it's windy. There's I'm here at Cromwell Bridge, quite an old bridge, obviously, Cromwell, on the Tolkien Walk. I've wound on, check the light, it's a bit dark. In fact, it's, yeah, daft actually that. So I think that's quite is it an interesting picture? I mean, it's interesting anyway, isn't it? Yeah, it's about the framing, isn't it? I'm going down there. Now I want to keep the line of the bridge dead centre, I think. So I'll shoot that. Obviously just in the focus and stuff. Might be my last picture, it might not. Let's check. No, it's not. I've got another one. Yeah, I was about 5 aperture then, 125 shutter speed, because it's pretty cloudy. There's a bit of blue sky coming through. So might be a bit windy if, you know, the mic's messing up. But I think I found my final picture of the roll. Just looking at this view. Turn that down a bit. It just screams like Jerusalem, you know what I mean? Maybe you don't. But British green pastures. So I'm going to get a shot of that. It's very bright, but it's the difficulty because the sun's shining directly on the shot. But I also don't want to lose any of the detail in the you know, well, what will be the darker bits if I meet it to the light. If I meet it to the dark bits though, the sun's too bright. So it's one of them balance things, I think. But if anybody's got any tips about that. So aperture about 8. I'm on, God, even that's too bright. Aperture's on 11 and I'm on 1,000th of a second. And that's saying it's about right. But even looking through the viewfinder, that's, you know, the dark bits are dark. So I'm gonna overexpose. So I'll go aperture 8, and then I'll go 2/50th of a second shutter speed. You know, so it's not too dark. Obviously, I'm pushing the film as well, so it's going to be really dark. I could just overexpose the sun. It's gone in now. Brilliant. Got a big flaming cloud. Okay, so I can overexpose. Let's just take it stop wasting time because the sun was gleaming through before, and that was what made me think of the picture. You had all the rays coming down, but it's behind a cloud now, so can't even see that. So it was raining before, it was chucking it down actually. I considered not going out with the camera. Now that I've taken all my pictures, however, perfect blue skies, no wind, perfect blue skies, typical. So back now. It's been a long day. Left the house I think about 10:30, got there about 11, and finally got back about 5:30, 6. And considering it's a 2.5 hour walk, you know, not that great. It does kind of highlight though how much time is spent, you know, stopping, looking at photos, sorting out your angle and stuff. How much time is taken up in photography? You know, if we were just walking, we would have made it 2.5, 3 hours. But yeah, and I only took, I think 16 pictures I started off with, yeah. So the film I was using today was this Kodak Color Plus 200. So it's a 200 ISO film. I pushed it to 800 ISO. And I haven't yet had any films back from a developer. I've sent them off. I haven't had any films back from a developing place of rolls that I've pushed. So no idea what it looks like. I think I've probably pushed about 6 without knowing. But again, that's part of the excitement. You know, I've no idea how they're going to turn out. So I'm excited for it. You know, I do always find it a little bit harder to take pictures in nature because there's so much. It's so much more intricate and there's so much difference in lighting. So, for example, in a city, you know, you've got it's kind of all very similar. You know, you've got buildings that have flat walls, and then the intricacy comes from the people or the cars or birds or whatever it is, and then lighting wise, you adjust relatively simply. In nature though, like forests and that kind of thing especially, there's so much intricacy in the trees and the branches and stuff, so that's something that's kind of a bit more conscious of a thing to do. But obviously, you know, I don't know how any of the pictures turned out yet, so that's going to be another fun one to get back from the developers. And when I do, I'll obviously post them onto my Instagram so you can have a look. The link for the Instagram, by the way, is in the description of my channel. I'll put it in the description of this video as well. So you know it's easier to go and have a look at what I do. Other than that though, I think that's it for this video. So hope you enjoyed watching and stay tuned for the next one.